welcome to Just the Facts with J. Jonah Jameson. By now, you are all aware where I stand when it comes to the masked menace, otherwise known as Spider-Man. Now, I am aware of the existence of a video game based on the web-swinging lunatic back in 2018, and I will admit, it was a very successful and even popular game back then. However, it has come to my attention that a second installment was released earlier this year, and this time, it has fans split on whether or not it can be considered a good game. Now, in my honest opinion, the answer to that is a resounding, of course not! Anything to do with that criminal is just begging to lead our children down a dark path of debauched behavior. And before you say, but Jonah, you haven't played the video game, so how do you know it's bad? Let me tell you that I am a very busy man who doesn't have the luxury of sitting on his couch all day playing video games! This is a rare opportunity on my show. But for the sake of transparency, I will begrudgingly forego talking about this game involving the web-headed moron and his plucky new sidekick, and relinquish this over to my guests, who more accurately represent today's youth. But don't let any words of praise they may have for this game fool you. We are talking about a game aimed at young, impressionable minds where Spider-Man is being portrayed as a positive role model. That, in itself, is cause for concern. You're on, boys. Have at it. Jerry, I'm heading out for an hour or two to run a few errands. Don't let them touch anything in my office. If they break something, I'll expect a cash or check reimbursement.
Well, he picked the wrong people. All right, so anyways...
Let's grab everything that's not nailed down.
All right. Hey, everyone. It's Mark Palmer again with another episode of Crisis of Infinite Podcast. And today, me and a couple friends are going to be talking about the recent Spider-Man game, Spider-Man 2, on the PS5. So let me introduce my guests on my right.
Hello, it's me, Nathaniel again.
And my other guest.
Just call me Shadow.
All right. Fun fact, you're in the game.
I know.
All right.
The royalty check still has not cleared.
Marvel, royalty checks, are you sure?
All right, so should we talk about a recap or the plot?
Maybe a
quick recap.
I mean, the plot can basically be summed up as, no one understand me. Everyone betray me. I'm fed up with this world.
So the recap for the first game is that Spider-Man's already an established character. He's taken out the Kingpin. He works for Otto Octavius, a.k.a. Doc Ock. And a bunch of his enemies join up as the Sinister Six to take him out. And you end up basically defeating them all. But Doc Ock creates this virus in New York.
I mean, let's face it, nothing that happens in the first game is technically relevant to this one, other than that the first game officially establishes Miles Morales with powers.
So
That's
if you want to learn more about the first game, just listen to our previous podcast, Peter Parker picked a Palmer podcast. Yeah. So with Miles, they established him as the new Spider-Man, but long story short, he gets his powers. Yeah, pretty much. His game sucked.
No, I actually liked his. It was short.
Yeah, it was short.
It sucked because it was short.
I mean, it was a bargain game. They only charged for it, like, what was it, like 30 or 40?
Yeah.
It wasn't a full price game.
It could have been DLC, but whatever. But if you haven't played the Miles Morales game, most of the stuff that you'll find out in this game was featured in the last game, so you're caught up. So anyways,
not really. Let's face it, they drop hints to stuff that happened in that game, but it's like nothing that happened in that game is plot relevant to this game.
I mean, they do have it. I mean, the freaking game comes with a little recap, like previously on video. Yeah. So you could just watch that.
Yeah,
to get up to speed.
Just watch the previous recap for Spider-Man 2.
I still hate the fact that we're stuck with this new head model for Peter. I liked the original from 2018.
Yeah, it's because they wanted to make him less like Andrew Garfield and more like Tom Holland. But anyways, the story begins of Spider-Man 2 where Norman breaks Harry out of his containment field, and the symbiote is still attached to him. Peter Parker's now a teacher at Miles' school, but he's running late because Sandman is now kaiju-sized, and they gotta go defeat him.
So, okay, let me stop you. So, let's not do like we always do, where we spend like 30 minutes
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
recapping the entire plot.
I was gonna say.
Let's just give the bullet points. Give me like 2 minutes, and I'll go down the bullet
Let's
points.
see.
I'll do it. I'll go
right.
down the bullet points.
Okay.
Bullet points are: we start with Miles teaching Peter's class. Sandman attacks. He and Miles go to fight Sandman. Peter gets fired because he left the class. Then the main plot actually kicks in, and the main plot is Kraven the Hunter wants to hunt what seems to be first villains, and then it's basically he wants the ultimate hunt.
Yeah, because
Side story that's going on is Harry comes back. He has a disease that's been cured via being given the symbiote that Norman found, and so you have a cross in terms of story between Kraven's last hunt and your typical black suit symbiote story. The suit gets on Peter at some point. Harry starts dying. Peter becomes, the evil like in every incarnation, while Kraven is hunting him. There's also the lizard. They're trying to uncure the lizard, who Kraven turned into the lizard to also hunt. Again, Kraven is looking...
Uncure or cure?
Peter is trying to uncure. Peter is trying to cure him. Kraven turned him back into lizard, blah,
Okay.
blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Point is, Kraven is looking for the ultimate hunt. Peter is trying to figure out a way to get the black suit back off of him and to Harry as it is corrupting him. And that's basically Act 2 of the game. Act 3, Harry gets the suit back. It fully transforms him into Venom. He kills Kraven, and then Venom becomes the big enemy of Act 3.
yeah.
And there's also some side plot involving Miles, which is completely disconnected from the main story, which is our perfect segue because that is one of the biggest kind of issues of the story. Let's go into the actual problems of the story because
I thought we would talk about the pros first.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. So, let's see. The pros is that I was gonna talk about how the game mechanics differ from the previous game,
But they kind of don't.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the same.
They're worse.
They added a few new things for the web swinging. Isn't it true that you can kind of shoot one web on one side of the building to the other, and then launch yourself in the air?
Yeah, but how? I played the game technically a total of close to 3 times.
I only played it
almost
once.
never used it.
Yeah,
I only played it once, twice if you count my time with Mark.
Yeah,
That's why I'm saying
Yeah.
that's 2.
Yeah, because you played it with Jersey firsthand.
Yeah.
And there's one new mechanic is that you get to glide through the air like freaking Superman. And remember, this is a Spider-Man game, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did we want to go? Let's go over the story and then we'll go over the mechanics. So go ahead with the good.
All right. So the good. I did like the stealth segments when you actually want to be stealthy, especially the inclusion of making a little zip line.
That's a game mechanic. That's not a story thing.
Oh, story.
You said you wanted to go over story.
Yeah.
Story. I thought we were going over the gameplay.
No, let's go through the story first.
Yeah,
Pros and
you
cons.
said let's go over the good things. I said let's get into the bad of the story, and you said no, let's go over the good of the story first. I mean, overall, the story, it's not a bad story. It's just, it's not as tightly woven as the first game. It has problems. This is a story that is not as tight in terms of its narrative.
Yeah. Also, one gripe I have about this, I know we're talking about the positives, but in the last game, Norman Osborn was trying to run for mayor? They never mentioned that again in this game, did they? Did he have to cancel his campaign?
Didn't his mom become mayor?
I thought she was councilwoman of Harlem.
Oh, yeah. Aren't there signs that look like she is planning to run for mayor, though?
I think so. I don't know.
If they are, I didn't know because I'm swinging through the air, not walking in the streets.
Yeah, because there's
No, in Miles' apartment.
Ah.
There's signs.
Oh, for his mom becoming mayor?
I think so.
Oh.
Because when I was talking about when I mentioned pros and cons, my mind was automatically thinking of gameplay. and
We'll get to gameplay.
And I'm like,
Let's cover the story first. Again, the story overall is good. It's trying to do Kraven's Last Hunt and weaving it into
the black
suit, and it does it pretty well overall.
Uh-huh.
I do like a lot of the...
pretty well or decent?
No, I would say pretty well if we're just talking about the aspects that are related to the whole Kraven's Last Hunt thing and the symbiote suit. I do like the way it weaves together certain things, like the idea of... Harry and Kraven are both, technically dying.
Yeah, because they got a cancer, boss.
They got a cancer, boss.
Hey, boss.
What's that from?
Filthy Frank.
I've never watched it, but he quotes it fucking incessantly.
Because I miss that guy with a deep passion.
But it's like, it does this idea of Kraven is looking for the ultimate hunt. It does the whole... Harry is slowly dying, and when Peter won't give back the suit, he, it breaks their friendship. Like, most of what it's trying to do in returns to anything related to Kraven's Last Hunt and the actual symbiote story, it does fairly well. I mean, other than probably just, like, Mary Jane and them not realizing and giving Peter, like, slack because it's, like, very obvious that the symbiote is corrupting him. Then we have the moment that is literally just, everybody betray me. I'm fed up with this world.
Because they included Harry because they didn't want to do Eddie Brock because they felt like Harry would have been more personal.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that.
Because Harry was actually Venom in the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon, which I haven't seen, and I don't know if I want to see it.
Yeah. Well, that's something that they've kind of tried to do, is try and establish this idea of Peter and Eddie in certain media have a past relationship.
And apparently when Harry first gets the symbiote, he's not Venom right away. He looks more like Agent Venom, like how Flash looked. Flash Thompson.
Which, I mean, those are small Easter eggs, but it's an interesting way to go about it.
Yeah. And also, let's talk about, like, did we already talk about, like, the positives? I mean, the positives that Jameson is back. I did not consent!
I'm not going anywhere! Wait, where am I going?
Where am I going?
Hang on to your cannolis, folks. Jared, that is not a slur. I love Italian.
Isn't Jameson technically... They established Jameson is the mayor.
He is?
Remember?
What?
Wait, no.
You pull him out of a limo. And
no, he's basically this world's Alex Jones.
No, I'm pretty sure they established that...
he's the mayor?
Yeah, you pull him out and it's like, oh, it's our lovely mayor.
No way.
They did not say that.
I could have sworn they did. I'm going to look that up.
All right, while he's looking that up, my views on the story is that, like, yeah, it's good because, like...
I could see him becoming mayor in the third game.
Yeah, because, like, the whole point of the story is that, like, Harry wants to, like, change the world by, like, paying tribute to his mother and Aunt May, where they had this dream to, like, cure all disease and cancer. But then when he gets a hold of the Venom symbiote, he wants to control the world into, like, this whole giant symbiosis planet. And, you get to fight more than one symbiote in this game.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I was completely wrong. It's still...
Podcaster?
It's, Norman is still the mayor.
Oh, wait. So Norman's mayor now?
Norman was mayor, yeah.
Norman was mayor in the first game.
Yeah,
I thought he was running.
Well, he was running, but he clearly won.
Oh, wow. Shit.
Even after the Devil's Breath fiasco, he still won.
Damn. Whew. And one good thing that I like about the story is the whole, like, side thing with Miles and Lee, like, because you have Peter being corrupted by the symbiote, but Miles also gains, like, this new power from Lee.
No, I don't know. I'm going to say that's one of the things I don't like.
Oh, of him, like, trying to, like, get revenge on Lee, but
no, okay, the idea is sound, the execution is not.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
The idea is a good one. The problem is, here's the big problem with Miles, and it's actually kind of a funny problem. The problem is Miles' entire story, everything that happens to Miles in this game, feels completely disconnected to everything that's going on with Peter.
Yeah.
There are very few points where the Miles' story and Peter's story actually connect and feel like the same story. Mm-hmm. It feels like they're two branches, two completely different stories that happen to like barely intersect once in a while. Like a good example is Miles meets Harry once.
Yeah.
For like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
At Coney Island.
Yeah.
Yeah, and apparently there were supposed to be more dialogue, more scenes, but they cut that out. Because I think I sent you a link about that.
Yeah, we have no idea what was cut out, but I get the feeling that Miles, his story was supposed to be much more involved and connected to Harry, to Venom, because here's a good example. Miles is on this revenge kick against Mr.
Lee,
Negative, Martin Lee. There's never a point where he is really, the resolution to that comes very quickly.
Yeah.
Like, he just decides, he just decides, I can't forgive you, but I don't want revenge anymore. Yeah. There is no big moral lesson learned from a character in his life that gets him to that conclusion. And it certainly isn't from somebody in the Spider-Man side. It's like you have a story going on with Harry, Mary Jane, and Peter, and then you have this completely separate story going on with Miles, Lee, Haley, and his mom. Yeah. And they barely interconnect.
Yeah.
And I can't figure out any other pros. The other thing that kind of irked me about the Miles part of the story is that he ends up solving not only all of his problems in the story, he also solves all of Peter's as well.
To a degree. I'd probably have to rewatch the cut scenes. Like what problems of Peter's does he solve, for instance?
Well, the biggest one is the whole symbiote suit.
Yeah.
I mean, that was going to happen kind of regardless. Again, it's a case of.
We have Miles who got beaten by Craven off screen.
Okay,
and then we have a boss fight with Peter and Craven that takes like 10 minutes.
Okay,
10
hang
minutes
on.
to finish. But once that's done, we jump into a boss fight with Miles and Peter, and somehow Miles, who got knocked out by Craven off screen, is able to beat Peter with the symbiote suit.
Yes, I get what you're saying. That's a problem with the story in general. That's not just a Miles problem. There is no power balance in terms of who is stronger than who.
Basically, power levels are bullshit.
Well, I mean, yeah, but my point is, Harry gets the suit back. Harry's body is falling apart and dying. Yeah. And suddenly...
Which also does not make sense.
Yeah,
because wouldn't the
symbiote cure the cancer?
Because wouldn't the symbiote suit have, fixed up the part that was jacking up Harry?
But again, this is where, like I said, this whole power scaling thing just does not make a lick of sense, where it's you've got Peter, you've got Craven. So it's you start with Craven. Let's start there. You've got Craven, who is,
a very skilled hunter, but he gets super strength and stamina with the jungle juice.
I'm just going by, you've got Craven, who outclasses Peter.
Yeah.
Then you've got Peter with the black suit outclasses Craven.
Yeah.
Then you've got Miles able to take on Peter with the black suit and beat him, even though Craven and therefore black suit Peter should be able to absolutely decimate him. Then you've got Harry, whose body is literally dying, gets the black suit, not only does not have spider powers, even has less power than a human, and is suddenly able to tank Peter, Miles, and Craven.
Jesus.
And then in the final boss battle, you've got suddenly Miles and Peter are both suddenly able to take on. Then you've got Peter gets the white suit, which puts him on even level with the Venom.
Yeah.
Then you've got, but Miles has no additional suit, yet he's still able to match the Venom.
Yeah.
Harry, who again should not be that. Again, the power scaling in this game is completely screwed up. Yeah. And it's not just related to Miles.
Yeah.
Please comment if your eyes are still uncrossed.
All right.
There is no there is no guideline, any definitive. Its characters are as strong as the plot needs them to be.
Yeah.
That's most any media, whether it be comics, games, movies, TV shows.
Yeah, but since this is a single game, it stands out a lot more.
Yeah. All right. So is that it for the story, or?
Oh, no.
Oh shit.
Again, overall, what they do with like the Kraven's Last Hunt stuff and the Black Suit stuff, all of that is actually pretty good.
Yeah,
And
it is
there's
good.
some ways that they try to weave characters together.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are instances where
but
they
there's-
introduce certain elements only for them to fall away by the wayside.
Oh God, should we touch on that one?
What?
The Black Cat one.
Oh yeah.
I mean, look, I'm just gonna put it as simple as this. They bring in Black Cat for like a 2-minute cameo,
Yeah.
and then she's gone and she never appears. It's like
Yep.
it basically is a case of what was the point of that character?
Yeah.
Big-lipped alligator moment.
Yeah,
It's
basically,
big
that's
alligator
basically
moment.
what she is. She's a big-lipped alligator moment. They throw her in for 2 minutes. They do almost nothing with her, and then immediately put her on an interdimensional bus.
Yeah. Because there's an Easter egg for Doctor Strange. She steals an artifact.
Yeah, but
of
there's a
his
difference
and-
between an Easter egg and you went to the trouble of a model getting the voice actress, and
Yeah.
she basically doesn't matter to this story.
Uh-huh. Exactly. Well, one thing that I did like about the story, well, it's more like a little not an Easter egg, but more like a little piece of like character development is that Tombstone is now reformed. He works at the carnival on Coney Island.
Yeah, I mean, I did kind of like this idea of some of the villains trying to.
Yeah, I
reform.
did. Yeah, me too. Seeing Tombstone working as a mechanic in the racetrack for Coney Island. You also see Quentin Beck, Mysterio, trying
Honestly-
to get back on. And honestly, as much as I don't like a lot of Miles' side missions, I liked what they did with him in regards with Mysterio's side stuff.
Where you play as Daft
Story-wise.
Punk.
So
Story-wise.
Okay,
you just brought up something. They've been trying to, and they've succeeded to various degrees, to really differentiate Miles from Peter. I honestly think that's one of the best ways they could potentially do that, is have this idea of Miles is much more optimistic and more open to trying to help the villains like reform and go
Yeah.
straight. But he's almost Superman levels of naive in that
Yeah.
regard. I
don't
think that would be
I
an
don't think
interesting thing to do.
No, I don't think Superman is naive.
Yeah.
Well, like it, but he kind of learns that like it doesn't always work out.
Yeah, like with Let's, Dark Side.
Well, no, what I'm saying, no, I'm talking about with Miles. You can do like he's overly naive.
Yeah.
Maybe Superman was a bad example, but it's like you can do this idea of he's trying a lot harder than Peter to actually reform these villains, but at the same time, some of them blow up in his face.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could work. And I actually really did like Quentin Beck's story in the Mysterio side missions, where spoilers for this. He actually was trying to go straight, but his partners wanted to capitalize off of the Mysterio name and throw him under the bus.
So, okay, now I'm thinking. Now you're getting me thinking even more. I think that would actually be, going off of what I had said, I think that would actually be a perfect way to differentiate Miles is, okay, if you're going to do this idea of Miles' mom as a counselor and potentially in the future even the freaking mayor,
Yeah.
like, use that to your advantage of Miles and his mom do what Peter never had the capability to do, of using the city council and pulling strings to help the supervillains. Like Peter,
Some of the supervillains.
Yeah, not all.
Some of them.
Because a lot of them are full-on psychopaths.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. No, I'm talking.
all of the villains from the Sinister Six. They are beyond help.
Yep.
No, but what I'm talking about is, imagine if you kind of integrate a little bit of a Bruce Wayne type thing, where Miles and his family use their connections to try and, just set up and help villains
Rehabilitate.
Yeah. And it doesn't even have to be a case of, oh, he's better at it than Peter. No, it can just be Miles has access to, like, people within government, because Miles probably knows people on the police force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Miles has access and resources that just Peter never had the ability, had the access to
Yeah.
utilize.
I mean, he might have with Yuri, but Yuri's off doing...
Yeah, because like Yuri is now like a ninja Punisher in this game, even though I haven't played the side quest. But there is a spoiler with another side quest. Carnage is in the game. Well, as Cletus Cassidy, he's like a cult leader, and they do like hint towards Carnage. Like they said that Carnage was like some prophecy or some shit like that, instead of just like being like, oh,
no,
like,
he just established the cult to use them.
I see.
He basically fed them.
He fed
lies.
them lies so he could capitalize off of the chaos.
Yeah.
I'm sick of your lies. Secrets and lies. It's always secrets and lies.
That's actually not too bad of an impression, I'm going to be honest.
Oh, thank you.
An impression of what?
Homer.
Okay.
It's better than his impression of Jonah Jameson.
Oh.
Hey.
Yeah. Speaking of villains, a lot of villains die in this game. They're just cannon fodder.
They all die. What are you
Yeah.
talking
They
about?
all die.
They all
Yeah. Except for Sandman and Norman. Well, Norman's a given because obviously he's going to be the Goblin in the sequel. Harry doesn't really die.
Oh,
I mean,
here's another...
Because
here's
you know
another
why?
one I know
You know
you'll
why
hate.
he's going to become the villain, right?
who? Norman?
Yeah.
Carnage symbiote.
No. You know why? He's going to become the villain because of one big reason.
What?
He's something of a scientist himself.
Ah!
Here's another thing that I think all of us do not like, and that is the existence of another podcaster.
Yep. Oh, my favorite.
I mean, I get the idea.
Yeah,
I
they
kind of
wanna
approve of the idea.
Differentiate
You have-
her between Jonah.
Well, no, you want to have two contrasts. You want to have the, let's face it, Jonah is
Progressive.
right-leaning,
yeah.
conservative podcaster, and the name is
Danica or Janica,
Danica,
whatever
yeah.
her
Danica.
fucking name is.
yeah.
Danica.
She's supposed to be the left-wing type of podcaster.
Yeah.
The problem is they go.
To the extreme.
No.
They don't. Nah.
Yeah, no, that's the problem. They don't go to the extreme. They go to the extreme with Jonah and making him animated and over the top and legitimately funny.
Yes.
It's like if you want to do that with
especially when you really listen to him and you're like, you know what, this guy's right.
if you want to do that with Danica, you make her like John Oliver.
I don't know who that
Imagine
is,
that.
and I don't want to know who that is.
He's John Oliver, The Tonight Show.
Oh, he's from The Tonight Show?
Or no. I forget what his show is called.
Oh. I thought you were thinking of Jimmy Kimmel or...
No, it's not Jimmy Kimmel. I'm pretty sure it's John Oliver.
Oh, okay, never mind. Well,
Yeah,
anyways.
Tonight. But my point is, like, you do that. You have both of the two sides be completely animated and over the top, and it's like that makes both of them fun.
Yeah. Anyways, speaking of podcasts, at the end, MJ gets a podcast, but she calls it the new normal. Gee, what is that a commentary of?
Ugh. Should we talk about Mary Jane now?
Yep, the MJ missions are back, everybody. Same with the
Everyone's
puzzles.
favorite. Well, people actually like the puzzles.
I don't.
Some people like some people.
Oh,
actually
okay.
did
John
like
Oliver's
the-
podcast, his show thing is last week tonight.
Oh, I just got it. Freaking Flash Thompson should have his own podcast, and he should be like the Joe Rogan, total dude, bro. That could work. Your podcast, bruh?
No. Okay, so let's talk about MJ. So I actually liked what they did with MJ in the first game.
Yeah.
The idea of her. I mean, yeah, it's kind of
It's Lois Lane.
stereotypical. It's the lowest
Yeah.
lane. But it's like it actually allows her to be a lot more involved in Peter's life
Yeah.
in both parts. They don't do anything with her in this game.
Yeah.
Nope.
She's just basically the self-insert.
I mean, look, let's face it, she's kind of just there to bitch about her life.
Yeah.
Yes.
She spends the entire game basically
Like
just...
saying, oh, I hate working for Jonah.
Yeah, I hate working for Jonah. My book series didn't work out, and now I gotta slum it at the Daily Bugle, and I
Yeah.
hate my life.
And spoilers, she gets possessed by the symbiote, becomes Scream, and like takes her aggression out on Peter, and then Peter simps for her, saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, things didn't work out." Blah blah blah.
Here's what they should have done. Honestly, drop Danica.
Okay.
Have MJ start her own podcast that is like over the top in terms of pro Spider-Man.
Ah, okay.
But throughout the story, she's having trouble being pro Spider-Man because you have this black suit incident going on.
You have
And
the
have
you have the black suit thing going on.
You
You
have the
have the
hunters.
thing
And-
with,
and
with
legitimately-
Aunt May's house going on. You have a lot of personal stuff going on. It's starting to like eat away at her, and
Yeah, have her have a podcast. She is 100% pro Spider-Man. She's gaining a lot of views. Jameson is kind of in a podcast war with her. You can even have interactions between them because they have a legitimate history. And you can have podcasts where it's like those two arguing over like Spider-Man is a menace. No, Spider-Man is a hero, and you can't see it. And they can give pros and cons, but you can even see like you can also have it that MJ is a bit blinded because when Peter starts going black suit, she's trying to defend him.
Yeah.
But even she at that point is having trouble of like, well,
is
maybe
actually having trouble trying to defend against like Jonah's questions
yeah.
about Peter's actions while he was being possessed by the symbiote.
Yeah, she can be like, well, Jonah, we can't understand the mind of a superhero and all they have to deal with. Like, maybe the stress is just getting to him and that's why he's being more aggressive and blah, 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 blah. You have her be an apologist for Spider-Man.
And you could and to flesh out the world, you could have like little off comments of Jonah giving like examples of like what the Avengers go through and how they would handle they would handle stress and how Spider-Man's behavior is like completely unacceptable.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like if you want to give her a legitimate thing that kind of builds off of the journalism thing from the last game, my recommendation is you make her have a pro Spider-Man podcaster. And then you can also then you also have, I mean, spoilers, Mary Jane gets corrupted and turned into Scream. Then you kind of also have a little bit more of actual
Like she gets
fuel.
a taste of it, and then like she's like, "Wow, like now I know what you've been going through, Spider-Man."
No, you have a little bit more actual fuel for her being, kind of a raging
Bitch.
Yeah, because you can have her.
Nice word to avoid the other word.
Oh yeah.
You can have her be resentful of the fact that, because then at that point, if she's doing the Spider-Man podcast, it's like she legitimately is living in Peter's shadow. And it's like, I just have to feed off of your scraps and cover all of your shit and try to defend you 24/7 while you were going off of the, then a lot of that, if you tie her work directly to everything that Peter is doing, then her whole rant as Scream makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. Let's see. So, is that it for the story or no?
I mean, those are the big problems. Again, it's a case of this story is nowhere near as tightly woven as the first game, and there is a lot of little things that could have been done that would have made it tightly woven. You can make the MJ stuff make sense if you tie her job directly to having to defend Peter.
Yeah.
You suddenly make all the stuff with the Scream make sense. You can make all of Miles' stuff make sense if you tie an idea of him actually being Peter's protege.
Yeah.
Learning a lesson from Peter about revenge and then having to deliver it back. Again, Miles just comes to the realization of forgiving Lee. If you tie that to a lesson that Peter teaches him early on in the game about not giving in to revenge.
Because I think originally they were also going to make Miles get a piece of the Venom suit.
Not going down the dark path. If you put that in and Miles legitimately learns from Peter about learning to let go of hate, then Miles being the one to convince Peter to not give in to the symbiote suddenly makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
It's just all these little ways that you could have made this story make sense and not really have to alter anything to do with the gameplay and maybe just add a few cutscenes.
Yeah, because there's way too many gameplays in that useless gameplays, like the walking missions, MJ missions, the puzzles, like they could have been cut.
There was a video I was sharing with Mark where
this guy discusses all the negatives of the game.
Yeah, pretty much. And he got to the part where Harry and Peter reunite after so long.
Oh yeah.
And
The mission of going through the school and
that. And we got to the point in the video where he pulls out the bikes and the guy's like, "No, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't make me do it. Don't make me do it. Be a cutscene. Damn it!"
But actually, that brings up another good point. This is another kind of problem with the story is that I don't know who on the team, but somebody. I get the idea of what they're trying to do with Miles. They're trying to make him. They're trying to do a divide between him and Peter, where it's like Peter has gotten to the point where he is like. He takes on Avengers level stuff. Yeah. He takes on stuff like Osborn, Doc Ock, the Sinister Six. He takes on the big threats. Yeah. And they're trying to establish Miles as the new, since he's younger. Street level Spider-Man. Yeah. That's fine. The problem is they don't seem to understand what street level means. Yeah. Because most of Miles, it's supposed to be your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, not your friendly Horizon School Spider-Man. Yeah. Yeah. That's a big problem. Most of Miles' side missions and stuff, and a good amount of his entire plot, basically revolves around doing stuff at his school or for his classmates. And it's like,
don't forget the community museum.
I mean, okay, no, that's understandable because that's stopping somebody who robbed a local museum and is trying to commit fraud and all of that stuff. That's actually like street level Spider-Man stuff. But like going and sitting with the old man, it's like, okay, street level Spider-Man stuff is supposed to be like stopping muggers, stopping arsonists.
Yeah, or like stopping even though I haven't played this mission or any side missions at all, it's like where you meet the pigeon dude. Where you meet the pigeon man and he's all like, "Oh, I'm freeing my pigeons," and then you're swinging with them and when you come back the pigeon guy dies.
Yeah, like Miles' stuff should be like stopping
a drug deal.
Yeah, a drug deal.
Yeah,
like a
drug
shootout,
dealers,
bank robberies,
just petty theft. Maybe people like creating like stealing and reselling stuff. Yeah. Some kind of a car rank.
Shoplifting.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that he should be, stopping.
Well, Peter takes on like the more Avenger level stuff, like you said, like Kraven's Hunters, the symbiotes.
And you can still include supervillains in that who are dealing with that small stuff. Yeah. Again, they did that with Tombstone in the first game where he was running a chop shop.
And Taskmaster.
Yeah. Like, honestly, Miles probably should have been the one taking on the flame stuff. That's around that area in terms of, like, what you're dealing with.
Okay. Anyways, also, the 2 end credits is that Norman goes and sees Octavius, and Otto says, "Oh, I'm working on the final chapter," and we already know that it's foreshadowing Norman as the Green Goblin. And the other end credits is that Miles' mother is dating Cindy Moon's father, and Cindy Moon is Silk, and I believe that they should have introduced Gwen. I'm sorry.
I've always had a bit of a problem of Spider-Gwen, to be honest, just because it starts to get really creepy. Because it's like, if you know the comics, you've essentially got Miles dating a younger version of his mentor's dead girlfriend. It kind of starts to get a bit creepy.
It gets very creepy. Yeah. Unless they...
The only way you could make it even creepier is, and I think they did this in the Marvel Spider-Man one, where they made Gwen younger, and it's like you have young Spider-Gwen dating Peter Parker.
Ooh. That one didn't age quite so well.
It gets into some weird places given what Gwen Stacy's
been through.
Yeah.
Oh, like with Norman and Gwen in the comics?
I mean...
No, that's a whole different can of worms.
That's a whole different can of worms. Plus, they retconned that.
Sorry. Okay, good.
It's like ship canceled. Never happened.
I mean, to be fair, in the video games, like, obviously the Gwen stuff never happened. Yeah. And that's the thing. They've written Gwen out of most continuities and just replaced her with Spider-Gwen.
Yeah.
It's like original OG Gwen, basically, they try and pretend that never happened.
She died. Anyways,
Well, no, like, okay, here's the thing. When was the last time Gwen was actually in a Spider-Man cartoon doing the actual Gwen Stacy as Peter's boyfriend?
Spectacular, I
girlfriend?
believe.
Yeah, that's the only one.
Yeah.
That and Amazing. The live-action Amazing movies. That is it.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of Miles, the video that Nate showed me, he said that he prefers Spider-Verse Miles over the video game verse because he said that this Miles is Steve Urkel. Pretty much is, because they made him too nerdy, and like when you're fighting, like there's way too much dialogue and they give out like dumb quips here and there, and like
It's funny. I agree with that and I don't agree with that. I actually liked what they were doing with Miles in the first game in terms of his personality. But yeah, I think they botched it in this second one in terms of having him go like almost
same with his
Steve
solo
Urkel
game.
I'd have to replay it, but it's like I liked what they kind of were trying to do in the first game is once you beat the game, they were really going for this idea of Peter is the more mature, a little bit grizzled because of everything he's been through, versus Miles, who is young, he's energetic, he wants to get in there, be a superhero, but he also has no understanding of what he's getting himself into. They were going for a little bit of a Batman and Robin thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, I liked that. I liked the idea of Miles just being like really overeager.
All right. So is that it for the story?
Unfortunately not. We still got the last thing, the actual ending.
Oh, you mean before the credits?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean where Peter basically tells Miles, "Hey, I want you to take over."
And essentially the how the heck they're even going to make the third game work.
Yeah.
Because all of Spider-Man's most notable
are dead.
Villains are either reformed or dead.
Well, no, but again, it goes into what I mentioned earlier. Miles's story feels like it is completely disconnected from the main story, and based off of what they set up at the end of the third game, it's like, how the hell do you make this story actually work?
Exactly, because
you're having the third game focus on Norman, who has a big
history with Peter.
Absolutely hates Spider-Man, moctly Peter Parker Spider-Man specifically, because that's the one that, as far as he is concerned, killed Harry.
Yeah.
And you have Otto Octavius, who mainly fought Peter Parker. Spider-Man knows who Peter is.
So we have two of Peter's
most notorious enemies.
Your two main villains in
who pretty much know exactly who he is.
Yeah. Your two main villains in the next game are gonna be villains who specifically want Peter Parker Spider-Man dead.
Yeah.
How do you make Miles work in that scenario?
Yeah.
They have not tied Miles to these characters.
Yeah, I know.
Miles never even freaking meets Norman.
Yeah. Otto.
He never meets Norman or Otto at all.
Yeah.
How do you make Miles work in this story, emotionally speaking, when he has no ties to any of the villains that are going to be in the next game?
I know. So they're not going to pull like a Batman Beyond, are they?
They can't. They've already set up Goblin and Otto are going to be the main villains. At most, they'll have one other, like, kind of main villain, because there tend to be, like, about 3 main villains in each of these games.
Calling it now, the other villains probably, if he's not DLC in this one, if there is going to be DLC, probably Carnage, and then Norman will get the red symbiote in the final
But
match.
again, how does that work? Because throughout
because
this...
now even Carnage has a connection with Peter because of his involvement.
Yeah, because of the
Venom,
Flame.
yeah.
Because of the Flame storyline. Peter's the only one who meets Cletus Cassidy.
Yeah.
Miles has no connection, no history to any of these villains, and let's face it, he has very little connection to most of Peter's side cast as well. He meets Harry once for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever met Jonah.
No. Wait, actually, I think he did in the last game. Like, he just swings by and goes, "Hey, Jonah," and then Jonah goes, "Menace!"
Yeah, like, he barely has ever met Jonah. The characters who Miles knows that are, Peter adjacent, is Mary Jane, that's it.
Yeah.
That's the only character Miles legitimately has some kind of relationship with, and we don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
What scenes does Miles have
With MJ?
with MJ only?
Shit, I don't know.
What relationship does Miles...
I only played the game once.
What relationship does Miles have with MJ beyond just, oh, this is...
my mentor's girlfriend.
Yeah, my mentor's girlfriend.
Little to none.
And from MJ's perspective, my boyfriend's... protege, yeah.
Little to none.
Yeah, little to none. Compare this to, say, like Batman. Let's say you compare this to Nightwing, Batman, and Catwoman.
Yeah.
Nightwing has an established relationship with Catwoman because he fought her for so long as Robin. That's the problem. They're trying to fast-track Miles as the new Spider-Man because, like, okay, that's not the problem. Having Miles be the new Spider-Man, that's fine. You want to do this storyline of Miles gets his powers, Miles trains under Peter, Miles takes over as the new Spider-Man. That's fine. That's actually a good story because, as I had mentioned to Nate before, look, they did that in the Arkham series of Batman.
Yeah.
Bruce dies at the end of the third game.
Yeah.
There's no problem with this idea of retiring Peter out and Miles takes over.
Yeah.
The problem is they've barely done anything in terms of
Miles establishing his own rogues gallery.
establishing his own rogues gallery, establishing what relationship he has with anybody besides Peter,
Yeah.
establishing his place in the city and the world compared to Peter. Like, they try to establish this idea of him being the more friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and I think you could do that. Honestly, the best way you could do that is, okay, most of Peter's rogues gallery is dead.
Yeah.
Miles is the new friendly neighborhood Peter. Peter wants to retire.
Yeah.
Okay, you do this idea of, you have Peter say, look, I think I'm about ready to call it quits, to hang up the weights. You have Miles be like, well, wait, what about the city? What's going to happen? What about all the supervillains? And Peter goes like, they're gone.
Yeah.
What supervillains are left to deal with?
Yeah.
Connors is cured. The Sinister Six is dead. Mr. Negative has no powers. Tombstone's reformed. Otto is locked up.
So is Kingpin.
Kingpin is locked up.
Quentin
Beck is reformed. You have Peter say...
Dr. Connors is cured.
Yeah, he always said that.
Yeah, you have Peter basically tell Miles what supervillains. There aren't any left. They've... sad as it is, Kraven killed most of them, and the others
off screen
either lost their powers or left the city.
Yeah.
You have the city no longer needs two Spider-Men.
Oh, yeah. Sandman's still alive.
Okay, but Sandman was also trying to reform as well.
Oh yeah, true.
You basically have Peter tell Miles, like, the city is safe now.
Well,
there's no big threats.
I was gonna add, like, I did mention some villains on here that they could introduce, like, you know that in the comics, Chameleon is the brother of Kraven, right?
Okay, yeah, that's okay.
You want me to?
But again,
you want me to just
Chameleon
spoil?
is a small thing.
Yeah.
No, I know he's an Easter egg.
He's an Easter egg in the.
Yeah.
He's an Easter egg in the thing. You remember You remember the side quests where we had to, like, ride the wind tunnels of those bird mechs?
Yeah.
It leads you to Chameleon's safe house.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
okay.
Basically, Kraven was trying to hunt Chameleon, and that's why you saw all of those different identities.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, going back to what I was saying. You basically have it that Peter is like, look, the city doesn't need two Spider-Men anymore. Most of the supervillains, 99% of them are either dead, reformed, or left the city. You have him say something like, the city doesn't need an amazing Spider-Man anymore. It just needs a friendly neighborhood one.
Well,
you give him a legitimate reason of he feels like all of the supervillains are dealt with. There's just the low-level crime. Kingpin is gone. The gang leaders are gone. The supervillains are dead or dealt with. I can officially retire and hand the city over to Miles because all he's going to have to deal with is purse snatchers, carjackers, petty crime.
Yeah.
At most, he's going to have to deal with, like...
a C-list or D-list.
Yeah, a C-list or D-list.
Yeah. So anyway, some of the villains that I did want to talk about, like they could introduce, would probably be like if they're DLC. You remember the bee drones? Like I said, oh, what a Swarm was in this, but like they obviously have to change the backstory because in the comics, Swarm is a Nazi bee scientist.
Well, they did mention Swarm in the first game.
Oh, they did.
So
Yeah.
I mean, hang on, we weren't done with the story.
Oh, sorry.
There's no way you can make this work if you legitimately go the route of Peter is fully retired in the
Yeah,
third game.
especially if you introduce his number one enemy, Green Goblin.
And if you put Peter in the third game, if you have a case of like a Miles game in between and Peter comes out of retirement at the end of that,
Yeah.
okay, then now you're having to divide the story three ways between Peter Parker, Miles Morales, and Silk, the new character, Cindy Moon. You're already having to stretch this story between two separate plots.
Yeah.
Now you're telling me you're going to try and stretch it between three? There's just, again, the idea works fine, but they have not put in the groundwork to really make this handing of the reins work. It can work,
Yeah.
but they've established more than anything that the next crop of villains are going to be specifically wanting Peter dead,
Yes.
not Miles. They're not going to give a crap about Miles.
Yeah. All right. So, anyways, some of the villains that I wanted to be in the next game, or if DLC, like, anyways, as I mentioned, Swarm. What if like it was an AI like Ultron, instead of just being a swarm of bees created by a human that gets turned into like this organic matter or whatever? Or what if they introduced the Spider Slayers, or like, you know how we had Kingpin and Hammerhead? What if we get Silvermane?
I can see the Spider Slayers or Silvermane because Norman and Otto were both very tech based.
Yeah, Hydro Man, they had a Easter egg towards him with his name, Morse Bench.
I mean, I don't think he'll be a big villain. Let's face it. They usually do 2, maybe 3 big villains per game.
Yeah.
If they're going to put it, and we've already got 2 of them, there's only going to be like one other villain who's going to have any kind of major.
Yeah. I was gonna say the Spot,
Point in
but
the story.
like, I know he's in the Spider-Verse movie, but I don't know if he'll be in the game. But
Okay, so this is something.
wait, 2
that-
more characters.
Okay.
Morbius. Like, what if, like, you know how Lee was an experiment?
No, they're gonna. I think they're gonna save Morbius for the Blade game.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. Or Hobgoblin, like he's a prototype Green Goblin.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
But what I was going to get to is this is actually something I kind of like that they've been doing with Miles. I do kind of like this idea of, I mean, this is dependent on how you personally feel with it, but I don't think it's a bad route to go. This idea of a lot of what they've been doing with Miles in terms of giving him his own rogues gallery is they reinvent what I would consider Z-rank
Yeah, like the
Spider-Man
Spot.
villains.
Prowler.
And Spot, Prowler, and Tinkerer.
Yeah.
And basically toss them to Miles. And it's like, I can kind of see the pros and cons because that can be considered you're just tossing him Spider-Man's leftovers.
Yeah.
But at the same time, these are characters that, like, Spider-Man, they haven't done anything with in terms of being enemies for Peter in, like, decades.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why not toss them over to Miles where they can be fleshed out into legitimate characters? Because, like, a good example is, like, Mr. Freeze in the Batman comics.
Yeah, he was a nobody.
He was a Z-list nobody.
Yeah, until the animated series.
Until the animated series made him into considered to be one of the most popular villains.
Yeah.
It's like, why not do that with kind of the less recognized Spider-Man villains? Give them to Miles and have him have a legitimate rogues gallery that has as deep a connection to him as to Peter. Because then look, at the end of the day, you're kind of going to then get the Heimdall effect where it's like you're reinventing characters that nobody's going to give a crap if you reinvent.
Yeah. All right. That it for the story?
No, I kind of want to go off of, okay, so they've reinvented for Miles the Prowler, the Tinkerer, and the Spot.
Yeah, but Spot was in the Spider-Verse movie, not the game.
Yeah, true, but it's like,
If
let's
they-
kind of go into that. What would be
what
some
I-
other villains
Since the
to, like, actually make villains for Miles specifically?
Ooh,
The only-
how about
the only-
Stegron, that dinosaur dude, even though he's like a lizard ripoff?
Oh, okay.
You guys mentioned Spot. The only Spot I remember was the Spot from the animated series, and didn't he have like a tragic ending?
Yeah, but they reinvented him in the across the Spider-Verse movie.
Yeah.
I know. Why Why don't they go the same route with this Spot? Introduce him in the third game, and he plays somewhat of a role in the story and trying to stop Ock and
Norman.
Ock and Goblin.
Yeah, I can
and
see that.
ends up sacrificing himself. That way, you could have him be another villain that Miles had reformed,
Oh.
but he ends up actually sacrificing more than Lee did.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's one other villain I just thought of that I think would be good to give to Miles because you can tie it into something you've already established. Beetle.
Oh yeah.
Because
Beetle.
well, because his tech comes from Roxxon Labs.
Oh yeah.
You've already established Roxxon Labs.
Yeah,
In the Miles game, yeah.
You can make Beetle Miles's arch nemesis.
Well, they've actually kind of done that with Spot. Like they've almost turned him into like his Joker
Ooh.
Oh.
in the Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh wow.
Well, because Miles is responsible for Spot getting his abilities, and Spot blames him for it. And it's not like he's crazy. It's just you ruined my life. I'm going to destroy yours.
I mean, I kind of thought this up right now. Like, seeing as how Miles's mom is going to be mayor and Norman is probably going to be mayor again, you can kind of tie it in with that. But like I said, like it's better to have Peter tie in with Norman than to have Norman tie in with Miles.
There's no way you can make Norman tie in with Miles. I'm sorry. There's way too much history between Norman and Peter.
Yeah.
How would you guys like it if at some point Jameson finds out that Peter is Spider-Man? And at some point in the story, he ends up trying to contribute to the team.
That would be funny.
They are missing one critical flaw. They notice a critical flaw in their plan, and they don't have a proper answer. And then they hear a knock on the door, and they open it and see Jameson, and he ends up providing what they need to beat the bad guys.
Yeah.
So here's a question. What would you say would be the cutoff in terms of we were talking about giving him Z rank villain.
Yeah.
What would be the cutoff? Would you be okay, say, if they reinvented Hydro Man as a Miles villain?
Yeah.
Because let's face it,
Yeah.
he's kind of always been
Sidelined.
He's always been, I would say, at best, a C-lister.
Yeah. He's fought other characters too.
I don't know. Hydro Man, with Hydro Man, I did like the idea that he specifically went after Mary Jane because he was just that infatuated.
Yeah, that was from the cartoon though.
But there's no reason it has to be specifically Mary Jane. You can make him
go after Haley.
What? Have him go after Haley?
Wait,
well,
really?
you make him a little bit younger.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Have him go after Haley?
Yeah, but it's you make him a little bit younger.
Miles's age?
Yeah, but you keep the same exact backstory.
Yeah.
He's a creep who's obsessed with Haley. He somehow gets powers, and he tries to kidnap her and make her his.
Yeah. So he's a simp.
I don't see. I don't see that. I don't see that working with someone like Haley.
Yeah.
You
plus,
can have, maybe with Cindy.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe
plus,
I mean, part of the
spoilers. You play as Haley.
Part of the reason why to be fair, part of the reason.
Don't even get me started on that Haley side mission.
Yeah. Sorry.
To be fair, part of the reason why I think it'd be Hydro Man would be a good one to give him specifically is.
Oh yeah, the electricity powers.
Yeah, exactly. You could do a lot of interesting stuff.
Yep.
With that.
Plus, would the electricity affect Hydro Man, or would Hydro Man affect Miles?
I think it would depend on the situation.
Yeah. Not only that, but people were saying about the Miles and Peter symbiote fight. They said, the electricity can affect Peter's symbiote, which I call bullshit, because the only thing that affects the symbiote in the game is sound, nothing else. Because yes, he's also weak towards fire in the comics, but nope, no effect.
Oh.
What?
Should we talk about some of the funny stuff we particularly enjoyed in the game?
Not quite yet. I think we're probably done with what we just talked about now. How about the game mechanics?
No, there's still technically one more thing we have to discuss.
What?
Okay. Yes or no? Do you think that they're going to kill Peter off in the third game?
Yes.
Probably.
I can see it. I don't know if they will, but I can see it.
I hate it. fully and utterly despise it.
Again, it's just a matter of the execution. I think it, because again, you kind of would then tie it all the way back to Miles's actual original origin.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Of he sees Peter Parker die.
Yeah, by the hands of the Green Goblin.
Yeah, and it's, again, my only thing is just, I don't see how you make that story really land based off of what you have going on. Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe, again, the only way you can make that work is you're going to have Peter not effectively go into retirement, be there throughout the entire game, and probably do a thing where he sacrifices himself to both save Miles and the city.
Yeah. Not only that, but once Norman becomes the Goblin, I want Steve Blum back as his voice from Spectacular Spider-Man. And he should not go Ultimate Goblin. He should just go regular classic sits when sits, but have a transformation similar to that of the Ultimate, but he still looks like the sits when sits counterpart, like you mentioned in the previous podcast.
Yeah. But it's like, I would legitimately be okay with them killing Peter if that is essentially what they want to do with this story. It's not going to work if they sideline Peter throughout the entire third game and kill him at the very end. He's got to be a mainstay in this third game if they're going to go the route of killing him and kind of turning him almost into a second Uncle Ben moment for Miles. It can work, but it's not going to be easy with how they kind of really did not nail certain aspects of the story. Again, it's clear I get what they are trying to do, but they are trying to do this idea of Miles gains powers, he becomes Peter's protege, Peter teaches him to be the new Spider-Man, he takes over either retirement or death, and then Miles is the de facto Spider-Man of this Insomniac universe. Mm-hmm. That's fine. The problem is this story should have been centered on tying Miles into everything to do with Peter's life, and they didn't.
All right.
This was the game that should have established Miles as Peter's Robin. Mm-hmm. And his main story is so disconnected from Peter that they never really do much with that relationship. Again, we talked about it at the beginning of the game when Peter gets fired. Miles just stands there and doesn't do crap.
Yeah.
Like, thanks for looking out for me, buddy.
All right. So is that it for the story and characters and all that?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Okay, so how about the mechanics and like how they differ from the previous game? Well, I kind of mentioned about like them flying around like
They're
Superman.
the same but less.
Oh yeah, they added like a few new things to the web swinging, but
I gotta hug the Perry.
Oh,
I gotta lick the
God.
Perry. I gotta wash the Perry.
Yep.
I gotta date the Perry. I gotta be the Perry.
Yep. In this game, you will learn to love the parry because that'll get you out of boss fights really quick. But the problem is that it relays way too much on it, like more than the Arkham games, more than the previous Spider-Man games, and even more than Zelda.
Okay, hang on. I'll go into it. Okay, this game has a very integrated parry system where there are attacks that you cannot dodge. You have to press the parry button at a specific window, and there is no way to beat certain bosses, or at the very least, it is going to take you forever to whittle down their health without using the parry system. If you are not able to get down the timing of using the parry system and memorizing the color-coded system of how the parry works, you are going to have a very tough time in this game. Now, if you learn and master the parry,
the hard way.
If you learn and master the parry, this game is going to be a cakewalk.
Yeah. So anyways, other things that they changed is that, like how you unlock all these different costumes, they got rid of the specific costume abilities.
Yeah. There's no specific costume abilities.
The gadgets.
And ability to transfer them to. Most of the gadgets are gone, replaced with kind of basically rechargeable finisher moves. And another big thing that we noticed, there is no longer the upgrade that allows you to web blind an opponent after a dodge.
Yeah.
Which was so helpful in the last
game. They have
I thought it was still there. You just had to unlock it in the tree.
Nope. It's not in the tree.
Anyways, what they do have instead is that like they do have like these special power-ups for like the Iron Spider suit that Peter has. Like,
yeah, but they are on a way bigger cooldown than your gadgets were
yeah.
in the first game.
And then like the symbiote powers are cool. Miles' powers are cool. And you get like a rage mode with the symbiote suit. Speaking of suits, let's talk about favorite suits and least
I like
suits.
to call the that rage mode, I like to call it the shocker mode.
Too bad that does not happen in the game, everybody.
What is kind of interesting is Kraven actually says like he has the most respect for Shocker of all the villains that he kills.
Oh wow, really?
So
Yeah,
basically what he
really,
says
really.
Basically what he says is the other villains were fighting to win, Shocker was fighting to survive, and as a result gave him the toughest fight.
Damn. Yeah, but Kraven really wants to die in this game. Just let me die! Just let me die!
I'm perfect!
I am too perfect. This is what happens when you try to play God!
Okay, to be fair, that line, that fits with this, what's going on with Kraven, more than it does in almost any other context.
Yep.
Because the whole idea is he is legitimately dying, and he is too perfect.
Yeah, and like...
He is the perfect hunter,
Yeah,
and he can only be killed
by the perfect specimen.
By an even better... hunter.
Yeah.
He's too perfect.
Not only that, but like he gets off to dying like, oh yes, harder. Let me be your first. and when you die, he goes, no.
Kraven is very kinky in the bedroom.
Well, one thing I did like in the game, brief moment, is that you get to play as Venom for a brief moment.
Kraven is a Dom who desperately wants to be a sub.
But he cannot break that habit.
Yeah.
He cannot.
Yeah, so anyways, there is a brief moment like when Harry becomes Venom, you actually play as Venom, and it felt like a Hulk game. And
we made fun of it. I still love the moment where, as Black Suit Spider-Man, you get Kraven in your tentacles, and you're
he's
joking
like, yes,
him.
harder.
Yeah, and he's like harder. That is somebody's kink. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
That is somebody's not very well disguised fetish.
Yep. Yeah, but you know how Spider-Man has takedowns? Venom does too. Like the Batbreaker that he does. God damn! Like it isn't like Bane's Batbreaker. No, he like folds you in half like a fucking pretzel. God damn! And like that Batbreaker was actually from the Ultimate Spider-Man game where you do play as Venom.
No, I saw. Okay, I wasn't able to tell you this. Oh no, wait, because we came up with it. And then I told I love when you get the anti-venom suit. The joke that we
It's you and Jersey. No, I hate you so much for bringing that up because you and Jersey brought that up because for context, when you get the Venom suit, you look at the outside. It looks like it has this little shiny wet sheen on it to make it look like it has a wet surface. When
no, they're trying to do an alien aesthetic.
Yeah,
an alien aesthetic. And then when you get the
white anti-venom,
and then when you get the anti-venom suit, it's all white and black, and you see me, and it has the same kind of texture. And
let's put it.
You did the joke
motherfucker.
Hey, you did a joke too. Like when I died.
I know. Wait. You motherfucker had to put that image in my head. Go ahead, explain yourself.
Okay, I want to. Let's just put it this way: you get the anti-venom suit, which is a pure white suit that still has kind of the gooey texture. You have an attack as both venom and anti-venom, where you create and hurl this living ball of white, massive liquid white goo.
With that squiggles on its surface.
Yeah, that squiggles like an eel.
Oh, I just realized. You know when Spider-Man does get that suit? Since it's a white suit, he touches the symbiotes. His hand glows and it erases the evil and darkness from them. He's Palm Striker. Oh, I'm sorry. I wish Jersey was here for this. I'm sorry, but I realized it, and he knew where I was going.
Yeah. Oh my god! If You have to bring this up to Jersey.
I mean, I will, but at the same time, it's like, look, at the end of the day, that's just that's a universal concept of when matter meets antimatter.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. But anyway, yeah, the implications of Shadow's joke is not good.
It's funny.
It is funny.
It's funny,
yeah.
But still.
And when I died, I'm like, oh man, I died. He said, nope, you're just spent.
No, I like, now he'll be able to keep Mary Jane.
And I'm like, wow, Spider-Man's sperm saves the day.
I liked how when the symbiote transferred over to Peter, you said friendship with Harry ended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what
Friendship
else?
with Harry ended. Peter, his new best friend.
Not only that, but there are new suits in the game. And first, let's talk about.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
not yet.
I
Not yet.
talk about that
Okay,
one.
let's talk about the white Power Ranger suit.
Oh, no, yeah, that's the one I wanted to talk about.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so one of the suits we unlocked early on was the Mysterio suit. All the suits have 4 color variants.
Yeah.
The Mysterio suit specifically, one of the color variants, if you equipped it, literally Miles looks like he's wearing the white Mighty Morphin Power Rangers suit.
Tiger
like
sword,
it literally looks like that suit. So we basically played through the rest of the game wearing that suit, and there were points where it's like, I'm playing as the white Power Ranger flying through the city and have electrical powers. This is a Spider-Man game, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Remember, this is a spider.
Yeah. Not only that, but let's go back to the MJ missions. Apparently, she could take out all these hunters no problem with a taser, yet Spider-Man has a hard time with like 6 or 8 punches.
Yeah,
against
again,
them.
like we kind of said,
power levels are bullshit.
The power scaling in this game is completely out of whack.
I do love the invincibility frames with the MJ missions, though.
No, you know what I like? What? I like the fact that Craven's hunters are all these different people from all over the world.
Oh, yeah,
they're all female.
And we have Spider-Man beating on women.
No, I love Craven's hunters are supposed to be the best of the best.
Yeah.
One taser from Mary Jane and
they're
down.
Yeah. What else? Oh, yeah. Another suit that's in the game is called the Shadow Spider suit. How'd you get in the game?
I told you, I'm still waiting on that royalty check to clear.
Okay.
What favors did you have to do?
You don't want to know.
My Ferrari, I had to do horrible things. What else? Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that suit.
Which
Miles' suit at the end game. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
I'm
that-
sorry.
That's total product placement right there. Like, they even said it was an Adidas suit, right? Or someone joked about that?
No,
it's directly Adidas.
It's an Adidas suit. Okay, so for people who want context, at the end of the suit, they try and do something fairly interesting with Miles, where Miles decides to redesign his spider suit into a new one, which is like, look, there's hundreds of suits. Peter's redesigned his suit a couple of different times. That's fine. The problem is, I guess there was some kind of contract between Sony and the company Adidas, where Adidas designed the costume, and it just looks absolutely ridiculous. It looks like he's wearing a Nike sneaker, literally. Yeah. So it's like
not even the cool ones. These look like the kid ones where you touch the blue part
they
and
light
it turns
up.
green.
Yeah, and immediately the day the game launched, that suit was available to order on the Adidas website. So it's like,
Really?
yes. So it's like, look, that's not anything that the developers had any control over. There was a contract with Adidas. They designed the suit, and the developers just had to put it in the game. And the contract probably said it had to be a story element.
Yeah. Let's see. What else?
Let's go into this. Is another story thing.
Okay.
We've got a problem of Peter never gets rid of the anti-symbiote suit.
Oh, he doesn't?
No.
How the heck are you going to rectify that in the third game?
Oh, yeah.
You're effectively going to have to start with, if Peter is in the game, these problems keep compounding. They keep compounding in terms of like, you cannot do the third game and not have Peter be playable.
Yeah.
But if he's playable, how are you going to explain away him no longer having the anti-venom suit?
That is, if they do decide to just do away with it.
And again, but again, it's another thing of this could have been solved easily. You just have it that the anti-venom suit and the venom suit cancel each other out.
Yeah.
So Peter loses the anti-venom suit at the very end of the game when he gets rid of the venom symbiote on Harry.
Yeah.
Again, antimatter and matter, they collide. They cancel each other out. Both suits are destroyed.
Speaking of Venom, when he was flying over the cross at the church, I was getting Spawn vibes. Were you?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
Seeing as how they were both created by Tom McFarlane, yeah.
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 Let's see. Is that it for the whole story thing?
I mean, we might hit on some minor stuff that'll bring something up, but
Well,
for the most part.
There were some. Oh wait, I know we talked about Black Cat, but should we talk about why she went to Paris?
I kind of don't even want to get into that.
Yeah, you're right.
It's probably for the best, even though, yeah.
Yeah, just play it for yourself or watch the cutscene.
Yeah, just play it. They bring Black Cat in basically just to have her make a very obvious statement and then immediately put her on a bus.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Black Cat, like what
hang on. And again, I want to say my big problem is just they bring her in and then they put her on a bus. They don't do anything with her.
Yeah.
They do nothing with. Why put her in the game?
Yeah.
Why put her in the game? Why have her say what she said and not do anything with it?
Yeah.
Yeah, if she had been like a legitimate side part of the game from then on, then that would have been way more justifiable to actually put her in. It's like.
Well, anyways, I was gonna say,
and it doesn't even have to be the entire game. Again, just give her some kind of a storyline like you did with Kurt Connors.
Yeah. So there are Easter eggs to other characters. Like the artifact she steals is from Doctor Strange, and you think you see him, but no, you just get a note from him saying, "Oh, nice try. Don't steal from me again." And it says Juan's name, not Doctor Strange's name. I'm sorry. There's an Easter egg for Black Panther. Like one of Miles' suit is the Wakanda Forever suit.
Yeah, that's true.
You go to Avengers Tower.
You guys find it funny that upon the release of the game that you walk through Miles's house and Miles is supposed to be half black, half Puerto Rican, and yet they had the Cuban flag.
Oh,
I mean, games are big. Somebody just made a goof.
Yeah.
I know, and they did go back and change that with an update, but still
they patched it as soon as they realized the mistake.
But still, a goof. But still, it's a noticeable goof, and
I mean, it's basically it's a pretty stupid goof that somebody should have gotten. It's like,
I mean, we did have like some goofs here and there. Like when I went through the tunnel, I actually literally went through, like to the city, back outside again. Couldn't go back in because I glitched the game.
No, that's different. That's different. That's a glitch. Yeah. What we're talking about is they wanted to respect Miles' Puerto Rican heritage, but whoever was responsible for that didn't even
Cuban flag.
Yeah, didn't even know what he's actually supposed to be.
Yeah.
Okay. What else? Freaking.
You know what I like in my Spider-Man games? What? I like playing as a deaf person spraying graffiti on the wall.
And it won an award.
No, they didn't win any awards.
They did not win any awards.
Yeah, they didn't win any awards at the Game of the Year awards.
Well, they won something from some kind of website who gave it some kind of minor award for
for diversity.
No. Is it for inclusivity?
Yeah, whatever.
Well, pardon my French, but whoop-de-fucking-do.
Yeah. Because that's the only award it won. But at the Game Awards, it didn't win shit.
Yeah,
it was nominated, but it didn't win shit. Anyways,
I'm quite satisfied with what won in the Video Game Awards.
Yeah.
What did win?
Baldur's Gate won for Game of the Year.
Baldur's Gate won Game of the Year. Hi-Fi Rush won for Best Sound Design.
I mean, of course, Baldur's Gate won. Any game that has bestiality is going to win.
What the fuck? Literally?
Yes.
No way. Please tell me it's female with a.
It's a drop me. It's like it's a druid. It's a druid male and a bear.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Why?
That was in one of the trailers.
That was a mistake!
Yeah, in Baldur's Gate 3, you can screw a bear.
No. Not even.
No!
I'm not watching that.
Isn't it a side quest optional thing, though?
Yes, at least it's optional.
Oh, God.
But still, it's in there, and that makes me uncomfortable and not want to play the game. But I am glad. But I am very, very happy that Hi-Fi Rush won for Best Sound Design because that game's sound design was spectacular. Especially because the whole gimmick of the game is that your character is moving to the beat of the soundtrack, and every time you hit something, it affects the soundtrack.
Yeah, I mean that game is basically literally designed around its soundtrack.
So yeah, if you guys haven't played Hi-Fi Rush, give it a try. Give it a try. I recommend playing the streamer mode first because they have because the game soundtrack is primarily licensed music, and the streamer mode has an original soundtrack for it, and it's still a banger.
So, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the other Easter egg was the Baxter Building. It literally just got made. Like you see the Fantastic Four logo, but it's not yet complete. But I don't know if like Insomiacs gonna do like its own gaming universe or what. I mean,
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, we are getting a Wolverine game by them. Or should we say that's 23 game?
Has it been confirmed that it's effectively like have they confirmed anything about what and who is going to be in the game?
No,
for
not
Wolverine,
yet.
no.
Yeah.
Not yet. All we saw was
But I
the
do have some
trailer with
ideas for it. Let's see.
Dude, this is supposed to be Spider-Man. Let's
yeah, I
not.
know, but
No.
we're not going to talk about like the upcoming games, the upcoming other superhero games like not just from Marvel but also DC.
No, that would be a completely separate podcast. If we did that.
All right. What about sequel ideas, future DLC? Well, we kind of already did, but do you want to see DLC for this game?
I mean, they're gonna do it. We know they're gonna do it. They did it for the first game.
Yeah, true. But
I mean,
what do you do?
Well, one of them that people have speculated, which would be pretty obvious, although I don't want this one.
Carnage?
Yeah, I want him to be a main character in the next game.
Yeah.
So would you be down for Mark's idea of it being Doc Ock and Green Goblin? Carnage shows up, and then Goblin becomes Red Goblin at the end.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah. Because they had like 3 chapters for DLC in the last game.
I want to see the Goblin Power Rangers.
Oh, God.
No, because, okay, think about it.
Oh, yeah, red.
We've got Green Goblin, we've got Red Goblin, we've got the Gray Goblin, we've got the Gold Goblin. Like, fuck, just go all the way. Give us a blue goblin,
a yellow goblin,
a pink goblin,
a black goblin. Oh, yeah.
Give us our Goblin Power Ranger team.
All their gliders form to make the Goblin
Yes! The Goblin Megazord.
The Goblazord.
Goblin. Yes.
And that would give us an excuse to get to what was the name of God damn it, what was the name of Spider-Man's mech? Was it
I forget what it's called.
It's not Superion. Superion is something else from Transformers. Crap. What was its name?
I don't remember, but it's like, as stupid as that is, I would freaking love, like, Norman just builds like a literal Goblin Megazord. That would be so stupid, but so hilarious.
That's not gonna happen though.
No, but it's like, come on.
Yeah. But yeah, somehow, like, how we got what's his name, Hammerhead in the DLC from the last game? Like I said, what if they introduced Silvermane? Like, what if he was like related to Hammerhead somehow?
They got to figure out something better to do with Silvermane because
his whole thing was the Fountain of Youth deal.
Yeah.
Well, you could have it that Kraven's last hunt inspired him to actually find the whole Fountain of Youth thing because he's too afraid of dying.
The problem is Silvermane's kind of in the wrong universe. Silvermane is an old-fashioned crime boss.
Yeah.
The whole thing
like
is
Hammerhead.
the whole thing is he was the crime boss before Kingpin.
Oh, yeah.
Muscled in.
Yeah, before Wilson Fisk.
But the point is, Silvermane fits better in, like, a Batman-style universe.
Yeah, or like Daredevil.
Or Daredevil, yeah. It just really does not fit in Spider-Man because, like, for as much as Kingpin stays in the shadows and all of that, look, let's face it, he is still a force to be reckoned with physically.
Yeah.
Same goes with when they use Tombstone and Spectacular.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can't do that with Silvermane.
Yeah, because...
So you'd be like, I'll fight you, Spider-Man. Oh, God, my hip! My hip! Get me to a hospital.
Yeah.
At the end, you'll have to have him turn into a baby, though.
Right?
No, again, that was something. Okay, here's the thing: the Fountain of Youth thing was never a thing in the comics. That's from the animated series.
Oh, really?
In the comics, he becomes an android.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But I could have sworn.
But they already did that with Hammerhead.
Yeah, but I could have.
Did they?
Yeah, in the game.
Yeah, remember?
I didn't play the DLC. I didn't know he became an android.
I thought you did.
You were there with us when we played the DLC.
Yeah, I was kind of zoning in and out.
Okay,
You were
recap.
high?
Recap. We were doing the.
Didn't he become more like a Frankenstein than an android?
Yeah,
No,
kind of.
Kind
But
of.
he did have a
kind of,
robotic body.
but he had a robotic body. So I'll take an android. So I'll make I'll count it as being an android.
All right, I'm gonna look up images.
I will never forget the moment that he reappeared on screen, and while we were trying to like hunt down that one of the Silver Sable's helicopters.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
I'm seeing it. This, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, this
and
is
we saw
exactly
that,
what...
and then we saw
Holy
that
shit.
image, and all four of us collectively shouted, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, no, this is exactly what happens with Silvermane. You're right. Yeah. This is literally... Silvermane turns himself into this kind of an android.
Yeah, but I could have sworn that in the comics he also got the Fountain of Youth.
I-
Unless that was like they did the cartoon version first and then they did that in the comics. Kind of like how you said that
No, it is from the comics, but it wore off.
Oh, okay. I see. Cuz also
And it still doesn't make him any kind of a threat because it just makes him a young man.
yeah. Not only that, but the symbiote in the comics was different from that in the cartoon because like what you saw in the cartoon is also used in like the movies and in the game because in the comics originally it just took Peter through joyrides through the night. It didn't like make him have like this aggressive personality. That was Stan Lee's idea.
Yeah.
Let's see. So what could you add for DLC?
Who could you add? You're out of villains.
True. Maybe there isn't going to be any DLC.
The only villain you can use for DLC is Carnage.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Uh-huh.
All the others are dead.
Yep.
Unless you want to bring Tombstone and he's gone evil again.
Yeah. And Mysterio.
Or Mysterio or Sandman.
Yeah.
Yeah, Silvermane in the comics, after the Fountain of Youth thing doesn't work, he becomes this.
Yeah, I saw it. I told you I used to have books about that talked about like all the characters and shit. I mean, we still got time. You sure you don't want to talk about like all the other shit?
No, let's just keep this a Spider-Man podcast. I mean, to be fair, we went over most of the stuff. Like I said, this game is not as nearly as tight with its story. Yeah. What they're trying to do, they have not set up what they need to set up to make it work. It can work, but I don't know how you make it work based off of what you got. Yeah. And it's just not as fun to play. To be fair, this is because I absolutely suck at this game's parry system, but it's like I do not like playing through the fighting system. Fighting mooks is fine, but I do not like the stuff where you got to use the parry system.
Yeah. I don't think I'll be getting this game for the PS5, even though I don't own one.
Were there
yet.
any dialogue moments that you guys did like?
Oh,
Save the best for last.
Wait, does it have to do with Jameson?
No, it could be with the best for last. No, it has to do with middle portion.
Well, I mean, we gotta obviously say what's the absolute best line in the game. Why does the city need me when it's got you?
Oh, fuck off with that shit. I've been.
I mean, everything Jameson says is great.
I've been doing everything I can to hold back from swearing these past couple of years, and this game is bringing out the swears. Yeah. I swear.
What? Anyways,
again, like I said, it's the concept can work. It's just the execution has been.
Anyways, the level with Peter and Harry where they go to get the USB drive at the high school, they distract like the janitors and security with the Rickroll. Like Harry sings it.
Yeah, that was kind of cute.
Yeah. So what was the best dialogue?
Oh, that's okay. To be fair, no, this is a problem, but this is a problem that comes up because they keep reinventing Peter's high school years.
Uh-huh.
Harry is a fucking millionaire.
Yeah. Why does he need to go to a public school?
Well, no, not just that. You can actually explain that. You can just say he's sick of private school and he wants to be with kids his own age.
Probably.
But it's like, why the hell is Peter struggling for money when he can just say to
Hey, Harry, you got any couple butts on you, buddy?
Yeah, Harry, can you loan me loan me a couple of grand so
Harry,
that my aunt doesn't
Harry.
lose her house?
Harry, I only need $350.
Oh my god, I got a headache.
Harry, can I borrow $15?
$15.
But no, and I mean, to be fair, this does kind of become a bit of a thing also in the Spider-Man comics when you get to the actual college years, but it becomes a bigger deal because they keep putting Peter in high school.
Yeah.
They keep putting it that he meets everybody in high school.
Yeah.
In high school, the only people Peter knew was Flash and
Liz?
That was it.
Oh, so Gwen was college.
Gwen was college.
MJ was just through his aunt.
MJ was through his aunt, but it was the same time. It was the
And
college years.
Harry was...
Harry was college.
Oh, wow.
He didn't meet Harry until college.
Oh, wow. Eddie was through work.
Yeah, Eddie was through work.
Betty Brant was through work.
Betty Brant was through work, but it's like they keep doing this where all of Spider-Man's side characters he meets specifically
Are
in high school. And
Yeah.
for most of them, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
Like him meeting Mary Jane in high school, okay, that's not a problem. Him meeting Eddie Brock in high school, that's not a problem.
Him meeting even Otto Octavius, that's not a problem because
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
would have been like an inspiration to pursue science.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big problem is him meeting Harry in high school because of the fact that Harry is fucking rich and his dad is the most powerful guy in the entire city.
Yeah.
So you're telling me at no point did Peter ever go to Harry, beg like, hey, my house is going to get repossessed. Can you or your dad please do something?
Yeah. Let's see.
And I mean, to be fair, that's a bit of a problem when it comes to even in the comics when Peter is in college, because it's like anytime Aunt May is sick, it's like you really can't go to Harry and say like, hey Harry, my aunt is sick. Who you kind of know now, who you are somewhat friends with. Can you and your dad kind of cover the medical bills?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Kind of what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, it was about since Miles lives in Harlem, how come they didn't have an Easter egg for Luke Cage? He's in Harlem.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Huh. Him meeting Luke Cage would be an interesting interaction, honestly.
Yeah.
Luke Cage is Power Man, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people don't use his superhero name nowadays.
No. They don't use Jessica Jones's superhero name either.
What was her name?
Jewel.
Yeah, I didn't even remember. To be fair, she retired because of the whole thing with the Purple Man. So it's
Yeah, and she became more of a detective and uses less of her powers.
yeah.
Because Luke Cage's name, his real name's Carl Lucas. Luke Cage is just like a name to get him off the back from the cops because, remember, he got arrested for a crime he didn't commit, and then we already know his origin.
Yeah. Well, I mean, either way, it's basically now his new legal name.
Yeah. Because no one really calls him Power Man, and that and he's a public figure. That's why he doesn't go by his hero name. 'Cause he's street level.
I mean, it doesn't seem like we're really going to see other heroes in this Insomniac series in general. Because we didn't see any in the first game.
Yeah.
We didn't see any in this game. It's like, I don't think they're going to put any, like, other superheroes.
I mean, they did
We
have
only had
Easter
references.
eggs, yeah.
The
like
best
Matt-
we have
Easter
are
eggs,
just-
yeah.
are
Yeah,
just
like
Easter
Murdoch
eggs.
and Nelson, the Sanctum Sanctorum, Baxter Building, Avengers Tower.
The Wakanda Embassy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, the only one I could see putting in, like, as an actual character would probably actually be Daredevil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like the closest they've got to putting would be Black Cat.
Yeah.
And
Or
Black
maybe
Cat's
Moon
all-
Knight. I don't know.
No, I think
Yeah,
I don't,
Daredevil
even Moon Knight.
because of Kingpin.
if they're gonna put in anybody, it's gonna be Daredevil.
Yeah.
I think he's the only one they might put in.
Yeah. Probably just as Matt Murdock though, like him as a lawyer.
Yeah, although I would prefer like putting him in as actual
Oh,
Daredevil.
what about Punisher? Because he first appeared in Spider-Man.
We are never going to see Punisher again, Mark.
No, we're not. They're not gonna put Punisher in anything.
They are not going to put Punisher in anything. Not the Punisher you love.
that stupid ninja Punisher.
Yeah, but the only thing Punisher's ever going to get put in is like those mobile games where they literally have to put in every character.
Like Future Fight.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, speaking of games, there is one game that's coming back. You know.
Oh, the offline server. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's not get into that.
All right. Even though I love that game very much. And I will marry it.
Yeah, I'll explain. Dude, I'll explain why not to get into that later.
Because I won't shut up about it?
No, it's for a very different reason, you idiot.
Why? Oh, because it's a Spider-Man podcast, remember?
No. Later.
Okay.
Later.
Okay.
Just take his word for it.
Okay.
But I mean, here's also another thing. The hell are you gonna do with Cindy Moon?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Nobody cares about that character.
No, but Cindy who?
Cindy Moon never took off as a character.
I'm that alien from Guardians of the Galaxy. Who?
Yeah. Yeah, because
like I agree with Miles. As kind of weird as it is to have young Gwen and older Peter.
Yeah.
If it's like, okay, this is this universe's version of Gwen. There was never an older Gwen that Peter dated. You can introduce her as Spider-Gwen. But trying to introduce Cindy Moon, it's like that character they tried pushing her, but she never took off.
Yeah, because didn't in the comics, didn't she get bit by the same spider that bit Peter? And then like they had like an intimate relationship because she can secrete pheromones or some shit.
Yeah, again, they tried to make her a thing.
How old was she in the comics?
Okay, she went to the same high school as Peter.
Oh, okay.
She's as old as Peter.
All right. But not in this game.
Because that's the whole thing. she was at the same demonstration, the same science exhibit demonstration as Peter.
Oh, I mentioned favorite bits of dialogue.
I mean,
yours.
Well, hang on. Look, that's how Miles comes about as well in the Ultimate Universe.
But was it the same spider?
It wasn't quite the same spider, but it's like him and Miles in the Ultimate Universe are the same age.
Yeah.
And they're basically bit by the same
type of spider.
Type of spider from the same experiment.
Yeah.
Here's the problem, Brian. Miles's mom is dating her dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, no, look, I'm a big Spider-Man fan. I don't know a thing about Cindy Moon. Yeah. I know the basics of her powers, and I know the basics of what her origin is, but beyond that, I don't know anything about her personality. They never gave her one. Yeah. Her literally, if I'm remembering correctly, her entire thing when she was introduced was literally basically trying to be a homewrecker. Her entire thing was she believed that her and Peter were destined to be soulmates because of their kind of shared spider-ness. And she's basically trying to get Peter to...
She basically saw themselves as the Adam and Eve of this new species.
More, to a degree, yeah.
That would be a good villain origin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Speaking of villains, what about... who's that other guy? Moreland or Ezekiel Sims or...
Oh, Ezekiel.
Yeah.
I mean, they're using him in the Madam Web movie, and oh god, that is gonna be okay. Yeah. Movies like this, there is a phrase I like to use from Back to the Future that fits so well for movies like this, and it fits well for movies like the Wish. It'll be a spectacular wreck. Too bad nobody will be around to see it.
Yeah. Also, it's kind of sad how...
I'm tempted to... I don't know if I would pay to see that movie. I'm tempted to see it, to laugh at it.
No. Don't waste your money on it.
Yeah.
No, I said I'm not gonna. I don't want to pay.
He's tempted.
I'm not gonna pay money to
see it.
To like, I will wait until like it comes to some kind of streaming service or something.
Yeah.
Or
get the DVD
or get the
whatever.
or whatever. I'm tempted to at least see it when
it looks like
free.
a fan film. No, fan films look better than this.
Yeah, fan films
look way better than what Hollywood's been putting out these years.
Fan films have better plots than this.
Yeah. Not only that, but it's
okay, I want to ask, what the hell is the budget on this thing?
I don't know, but it's kind of sad how like Craven the movie, like the game that they did him justice, and this movie that they're gonna do with him is gonna be awful as well.
Okay. Okay. So not people. Okay. People are speculating that the budget is probably around the same as Morbius, which Morbius was apparently 80 million. So people are speculating it's probably around the same. That does not look like an $80 million movie.
Yeah.
We went and saw freaking Godzilla -1.
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah, I saw it.
With who?
Jersey and Ant wanted to see it.
Oh, okay.
It's like that. The fact that you can make that on freaking 15 million, and yet Madam Web has a budget of like probably close to 80 million. It's like, the hell is the money going?
Yeah.
It's not going to the screen.
And yeah, I highly recommend the Godzilla movie, even though it's a Spider-Man podcast.
Here's the thing, Mark.
Oh, okay. So
Here's the thing.
There was kind of a funny joke after we saw the Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
Anthony was like, "So, Brian, what do you think?" I was like, "I liked it. I thought it was good." So, Anthony's like, "Oh my God, Brian liked it. It must be the best movie ever." He's not shit talking it.
Yeah.
No joke, Mark. He only had one minor complaint about the movie,
And that was?
That it uses the trope of the woman pushes the other person out of the way and doesn't jump out of the way in time, like pushes them instead of like tackling them.
Oh, yeah.
that was the only issue he had.
Oh, that's it? Like during the destruction scene?
Yeah.
Where spoilers, we think the wife dies, but she doesn't die.
Yeah, the classic, I must sacrifice myself for you instead of like tackling both to safety.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Other than that, solid movie.
Yeah.
Back to Spider-Man.
As much as I love Godzilla, everybody.
What was your I mentioned favorite line of dialogue. You might as well go ahead and say it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Set the scene.
You gotta stomp forward as a big bad guy. All right. Before we do this, I just have one thing I need to say to you.
Now, keep in mind, this baddie is another variant of the Brutes. Yeah. They are big, hulking guys, and this one is one of the hunter Brutes. He's wielding an axe, and he's wearing a bear skin. Yep. And this is right when they are attacking the Emily May Foundation after they had gotten a sample of the cure for Dr. Connor.
You know, we probably should have set this up beforehand.
Exactly. And so you see him like walking up, and Spider-Man.
So, okay, I'll set it up. So basically, you're fighting the hunters. A lot of them are themed after animals. There's this giant brute that walks up to you. He's dressed in a bear skin, wielding a giant axe that is about as big as Peter. And so Peter basically, as the guy's stomping toward him, Peter says, "Before we get down to this, there's something I gotta tell you."
The guy leans in, and the guy actually stops and leans in to hear what Spider-Man has to say.
"I'm all out of honey."
I'm fresh out of honey.
That was such a great joke.
Yeah.
There were a couple of other good ones. Like, there's another good one with the brute where he first shows up and Peter goes, "I didn't know there were bears in these woods." I also like some of the... This is something that they always keep forgetting. Peter meets Harry and Gwen in college. Specifically, you got to remember, Peter's in the science program. A lot of incarnations forget to go into, like, Harry is supposed to be, like, decent, not as good as Peter, but a decent scientist. And so many adaptations forget that.
Oh, yeah.
The same goes for Gwen.
Yeah.
They always forget that those two are supposed to be...
Science majors?
Yeah, science majors. Again, Peter's supposed to be, like, the smartest of the three of them, but they're supposed to be, like, not slouches. So I like moments where... there was one moment where Peter says, "Now just stay here and be a good little positron." And Harry's like, "What?" And Peter goes, "Stay positive." I like moments like that where they're doing, like, science jokes with each other.
Yeah.
Why Iron Man and not female?
Yeah.
I get it. What else? I do like how some of the jokes we made when we played, like when Norman comes into their little pad and says, "What the hell happened here?" Hookers were here.
Oh yeah. What happened here? It's like, we hired some hookers. And that doesn't actually happen in the game, but it's just like,
It's just little jokes that we made here and there.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like with the cum suit.
Oh God. He said it, not me. He said it, not me.
I mean, do you expect better from him?
No.
Really?
No. You're the one who brought it up. You're the one who burned that image into our heads.
I apologize for nothing. Yeah, I mean, it's like they're out of villains to use, more or less. And you're gonna try and do a third game with potentially three main characters.
Unless
one
they're
of
going
which
to
is
rehash
new.
the Sinister Six.
One of which is new, and let's face it, doesn't have much of a history to begin with.
Yeah.
We're basically set up with Dr. Octopus and Green Goblin.
I mean, I'll give them credit. Like, there is ways to make this work and stick the landing. It's just going to be very difficult. They need to make sure whoever is writing the third game is a really good writer.
Yeah.
I have
based off of
based on what we have seen, I have
Doubts.
I have a lot of doubt and little faith.
Yeah, based off of what we looked up when it came to the writer for this game versus the writer of the first game, and their credentials, it's like I don't think they're going to be able to nail the third game.
No, especially if they keep the current writer.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, I mean, okay, I get why they did this, but this is always something that I thought was really freaking stupid, even though it is in the comics. I hate the whole Venom fucking demonic thing, where he spreads the wings, and he literally looks like a Spawn character at that point.
Yeah.
It looks like Spawn crossed with Gargoyle.
Yeah, and then like he has like when you fight him, like when he throws the projectiles, it's like DBZ attacks. It's like something Frieza would throw at you.
Yeah, but again, again, it literally looks like something out of Spawn.
Yeah.
And it's like that was never the idea with him.
Yeah.
I don't like where they took Venom in the comics. I did like the idea of Venom considers himself an anti-hero, but really he's more of a menace.
Yeah.
Like he's actually what Jonah thinks Spider-Man is.
Yeah. Plus, the whole point of the symbiotes is that, they are part of a hive mind, and that, like, originally...
Oh, they've been trying to go this route of making the symbiotes sympathetic for a while. Oh, you know what? That's a big plot element I hate.
Oh.
I hate that they go the Web of Shadow routes at the end.
Yeah, with, like, the whole symbiote invasion?
Because it makes the symbiotes look pathetic.
Yeah. I think Web of Shadows was a better game.
Okay. We mentioned this with MJ's segments, with the stealth segments where she's evading and tasing.
You wanted to bring up the Scream fight?
No, me. Well, now I do. You bring up the. You have these stealth segments where Mary Jane is basically tasing every single hunter, highly trained hunters from all over the world who have knowledge of weaponry and tracking, and they get outsmarted by this little 120-pound woman, redheaded woman. Fast forward to the end of the game, and we go from Last of Us stealth to Resident Evil
stealth,
level to Resident Evil level stealth,
where it's like Mary Jane
is up against these Lovecraftian horrors from outer space.
But again, it's also a thing. It's this. There's elements of this that were not thought out. It's not some okay. It's one thing. It's not so much that she's taking them out with the sonic gun. It's like, look, that's always been a weakness of the symbiote.
Yeah.
The big problem is you, as Peter and Miles, have access to that technology, and it does not one-shot them. If you're going to establish that Mary Jane's sonic gun just freaking one or two shots these monsters, why the heck are Miles and Peter not doing it? Like, they should be able to do that. There is no reason why the sonic technology that they integrate into their web shooters should not be having the same effect as the exact same technology that Peter then integrates into Mary Jane's taser gun. It's the Lara Croft Ludo narrative dissonance where they want to do something in the game, but it makes no sense as far as the story.
Now, since you brought up the screen fight, I did want to bring it up, but if you don't want to talk about it,
no, because again, it's like like I said, you can make the scream fight make sense. It's just the story does not give what's needed for that whole rant that she gives as Scream to make sense.
And it instead sounds like something entirely.
Yeah, it sounds like I don't know if this game had one writer or multiple writers. It probably had multiple writers.
Yeah. I think this was like the head writer's outlet.
I mean,
little rant.
Okay, hang on. We cannot say that for certain.
I know.
Bottom line,
I'm saying it feels like it.
Bottom line, this game probably had multiple writers, and this feels like one of the writers just ranting about, self stuff.
Yeah,
definitely.
That portion specifically.
It felt like projection.
Yeah. And again, you can make it work, but the story does not make that moment in her entire rant about why she, quote, really hates Peter. It doesn't work with what you've established in this story. Yeah. That's the big problem. These moments that they want to have do not work with what they are establishing in the story.
Mm-hmm.
If you want that Mary Jane rant to make sense, you have to actually put her in Peter's shadow. You have to actually make it that it's like she is, again, that's why I said the podcast was a good idea. You have to tie everything she's doing to being a result of Peter's Spider-Man actions. If you want the Miles revenge thing to make sense and then him helping Peter with the symbiote, you have to tie Peter into helping Miles overcome his own desire for revenge. But they don't. They don't tie the building blocks. The elements are there, but they're not tied together. Again, I keep going back to it feels like you've got all of these different storylines that do not connect the way that they should.
Yeah. Because, like I said, there was supposed to be more interaction between Miles and Harry.
Yeah.
Even the voice actor of Venom said that there was, but it got cut.
Yeah. It sounds like the story got completely botched in the editing phase.
Yeah.
No, there's one character we never talked about.
Who?
Which?
Genki.
I mean...
He's there.
Yeah.
He's okay.
The only real moment I genuinely liked is when he hacked into the bird drones.
Yeah, that was cool.
And
he had the war cry. Ah!
The kind of big problem is Genki doesn't work when you're doing a story where you've already established Miles.
When you already establish
that Miles is supposed to be pretty dang smart himself.
Yeah.
And that Peter can make his own gadgets.
Yeah, because here's the problem. Genki, in the context of the original comics, when they made Miles, they did not give him the scientific background that Peter did. They gave him a man in the chair. They did kind of like a Static Shock thing between
or
him
that
and Gear.
Kid from Kim Possible.
Yeah.
Wade.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Even though I've never seen Kim Possible.
Yeah. Genki, the whole idea with him was that he was Peter's tech guy, which is ironic because they literally just freaking gave Peter Miles's origin and personality in the first MCU movie.
Uh-huh.
I remember the MCU movie and the Into the Spider-Verse movie came out almost at the same time, and I'm like, did somebody get the notes flipped? Because Peter in the MCU in that first movie,
Miles.
He's basically Miles, and Miles in that first Spider-Verse movie is basically Peter. It's like, did somebody get the notes flipped at some point?
Also, one of the more annoying types of enemies is probably those mechanical panthers.
Oh, there are plenty of annoying enemies.
Yeah.
Anything that you have to parry is annoying. And Sometimes the flame can be especially annoying because you can't web certain enemies up unless you like properly parry or stun them.
Yeah, so it's like going back to Genki. Genki, I understand why they wanted to bring him in. He's from the comics. He's Miles' best friend, so they wanted to give him his best friend.
Yeah, yeah.
The problem is Genki doesn't work in a context where Miles is actually legitimately scientifically gifted.
Yeah. He's also kind of. Oh, you know what other character?
It's funny. Genki would actually work in the Into the Spider-Verse movies.
Yeah.
Because in that, Miles is not actually like a science guy.
Yeah. Also, freaking Genki is kind of like Microchip from the Punisher comics. You know, the guy who like handles like the weapons and tech for Punisher and tells him like, "Oh, hey, there's a drug dealer going on at the pier."
I mean, do we want to get into the bigger issue with Miles?
The fact that he has many of the racial stereotypes?
No, I mean, no,
I don't
not
know.
really.
I don't want to
Yeah.
get canceled.
I mean, that let's not get into that.
Yeah.
No, the bigger.
Chicken.
Oh.
No, the
All
bigger
right.
issue. The bigger issue for me is Miles has no cemented almost anything. Miles has completely different personalities between the comics, Into the Spider-Verse, and the game.
Yeah.
He has a completely different backstory between all three.
He is not consistent.
Yeah, he has completely different friends between all three. He has completely different enemies between all three. He has completely different family situation between all three. There is no consistency in terms of what is like. Okay, who is? Okay. Let's play a game here.
Okay.
Let's say you two were tasked with doing a Miles Morales show.
Okay.
Okay, question number 1. Who is Miles's definitive number 1 best friend?
Well, you'd either have to go with Genki or make someone else up.
Would it be Genki or would it be Spider-Gwen?
Ooh, I'd say Genki.
I'd say Genki because Spider-Gwen is her own thing in a different universe.
But the fact that you can have it be either says that there is no definitive best friend.
Oh wow.
Okay. Does in this hypothetical show, do Miles' parents know that he's Spider-Man?
Not yet.
No.
At least not yet.
No.
But you can do it either way because
Oh, because his mom knows.
in the game his mom
Yeah,
knows.
uh-huh.
In the movie they do not.
Yeah.
In the comics they do eventually learn. There is no definitive answer on do his parents know who he is. Again, I am asking, in this hypothetical, is there a definitive answer for any of these questions that I'm bringing up? Who is his girlfriend? Is there a definitive answer for that?
No.
Because you can either go with Gwen or Haley.
Who is his number 1 enemy? Is there a definitive answer for that?
No.
What is his definitive origin?
Oh. Yeah.
Is it that what is his definitive character death motivation? That he sees somebody die. Who is it?
His dad?
But who else is it?
Oh.
His mom?
There is no definitive
Peter.
answer. There is
Yeah.
no definitive answer.
Yeah,
That's what I'm getting
It's
at.
either his mom, dad, or Peter.
But that's the problem.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
is
It
the
there are-
exact problem.
With all of these questions that I'm answering, you can give me 3 different answers for any of these. Of who is his girlfriend? Well, no. It's like some people would say, oh, well, it's got to be Spider-Gwen because of the movies. No, it's actually Haley because of the games. What is his origin? Oh, well, he sees Peter die. No, because that doesn't happen in the games. He sees his father die. Who is his definitive? Oh, it's the Spot. No, it's the There's no definitive answer for any of this
because
stuff.
And if
at
there's
least with
anything that we've
Kamala,
seen- and if there's
her
anything that we've
parents
seen
know.
If there's anything that we've seen from current entertainment is that they either struggle with coming up with a definitive answer or decision, or they just flat out brush away all sense of objective, definitive anything and just make it a free-for-all.
No, okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. The big problem is Miles' original comic origin is so insanely convoluted that you can't do it in a lot of different medias. His whole origin is he is from an alternate universe, sees his Peter die, becomes Spider-Man, then gets transferred to the regular Spider-Man universe.
That happened.
Where he becomes essentially kind of a pseudo halfway second Spider-Man sidekick to Spider-Man. It's like, you can't make that work outside of Into the Spider-Verse. And they never bothered to definitively establish, like, here's the thing. They had this problem with Jason Todd for a long time. Jason Todd's origin, when he comes back as the Red Hood, is so convolutedly stupid. It's the you know what it is.
Yeah, Superman Prime.
Yeah, Superboy Prime punches reality,
rebooting the DC universe
and bringing Jason Todd back to life.
That was the real reason.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh my God! I will take the Lazarus Pit any day.
Oh yeah,
over
definitely.
But yeah,
over that
that has
damn.
become the definitive way that Red Hood comes about. He starts as Jason Todd, he's Robin, he dies, and Ra's al Ghul brings him back out of guilt via the Lazarus Pit. It's clean, it's simple, it's easy to adapt to any media. The problem with Miles is he's got two to three different origins now, and they keep adapting each of the three in every single different media.
So they cannot decide on a definitive anything for Miles.
Yeah. They can't even decide on a definitive personality.
Yeah.
Because, as you said, in this second game, Miles comes across as kind of they go the geeky route, and he's a bit of a Steve Urkel.
Yeah.
In the Into the Spider-Verse, they go for more laid back, kind of, I don't even want to kind of say this, but kind of your typical African-American personality of like the
Stereotype.
I mean, not stereotype. It's more just he's kind of the laid back, kind of geeky, but wants to be cool kid.
Yeah.
So a nerd.
No, because he's not so much a nerd. It's more they go for the awkward teen, but he's trying to be the cool kid.
Yeah.
Like a little bit
I
more
want to say like Static Shock.
Yeah, a little bit like Static Shock.
Even though I haven't seen that show either.
A little bit like Virgil. Well, Virgil had kind of some of those laid-back elements, but he was still kind of an awkward teenager.
Virgil?
That's his secret identity.
That's his normal name.
Yeah.
Oh,
Virgil
Static?
Hawkins.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Because when you said Virgil, my mind automatically went to Devil May Cry.
Oh. Yeah, but the point is you've got like two, I don't even know. And then like each of those kind of pulls from different elements based off of the comic. So it's like, again, it's a case of you have, will the real Miles Morales please stand up?
Yes, I'm the real Miles. Yes, I'm the real Miles. Whatever. I can't even remember the lyrics.
Man, now I'm thinking of a Three Jokers cover with just Miles.
I mean, you're not exactly wrong. They need to officially cement in stone what is definitively Miles's love interest, what is definitively his best friend, what is definitively his situation with his parents. They don't even have definitively established if his dad is dead or not.
Yeah.
He's alive in the movies and he's dead in the games.
Uh-huh.
The only things that are definitively established about Miles are
his powers,
technically his suit, and that his uncle is the Prowler.
Yeah.
But aren't his powers also derived from other different characters from Spider-Man too?
No.
Like other spider-themed heroes.
No.
Are you sure?
No. So here's the thing. The problem is Miles's powers have kind of escalated from what they were. His original power set was Peter Parker's. The only additional power he had beyond that was
electricity.
No, not even that. It was the
invincibility.
No, the Venom shock.
Oh yeah.
Originally, his only additional power was that he had the ability to touch and basically do kind of a paralyzing nerve toxin touch. But it was like a shocking touch. It was basically he could kind of do an electrical version of the Vulcan nerve pinch.
Yeah. Then it evolved to more like controlled by electricity.
Yeah, then it evolved to that, and then I think originally he did have the invisibility thing. So his two powers that he had that were unique to him were he could camouflage himself, and he had the what was called the venom touch.
Yeah.
But the problem is the venom touch just kept getting expanded more and more and more and more. It's a lot more dialed back in the movies, but in the games they have just like and in the
He's
comics.
like on par with Electro.
Yeah, his powers in the game have become on par with like a mini Electro. All he needs is the ability to fly via electricity.
Yeah.
Well, he can't. Well, not via electricity, but he can glide now.
Yeah, well, in the comics, he can now make a literal electric lightsaber.
Oh yeah, that's right. I showed you that article.
Oh my god, that's dumb.
Yeah. What's it called? The Spider Saber? The Venom Saber?
I have no idea what it's called.
Oh god.
But I mean, that's another thing. They can't even figure out, okay, is Miles' electrical powers a big part of his power set or not? Because in the Spider-Verse movies, he really doesn't have much of the electrical powers.
Yeah.
They actually use the camouflage ability a lot more than the electrical powers in the Spider-Verse movies.
Yeah.
So again, that's another thing where it's like even kind of his power set is not fully consistent between the different versions.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, again, we've gone on a bit of a rant, but that's the biggest problem with Miles. They need to cement in stone. Like, you give me, you know, Spider-Man. It's like, okay, who is his best friend?
Harry Osborn.
Who is his, who does he live with?
Who does he live with? Aunt May.
Does she know who he is?
No.
Who is his number one enemy?
Green Goblin.
Where does he work?
Daily Bugle.
You see? This is accurate across all of the different media. Some things change from different media here and there, but the
core.
what inspired him to be Spider-Man?
Death of Uncle Ben.
But the core elements are always the same, regardless of whether we're talking about Spectacular, regardless of whether we're talking about the '90s, the Ultimate cartoon, any of the movies. The core stuff is always there.
Yeah.
Some small things might change, like who's his first girlfriend?
Gwen.
Not always accurate.
Yeah, you're right.
Sometimes they go straight to Mary Jane.
Uh-huh.
But again, that's like one thing that kind of flip-flops is if Gwen is a thing or if it goes straight to MJ.
Yeah.
But so many other stuff is the exact basic same across all the way back to like the first adaptation of his cartoon in the 60s. Miles has had 2 going on 3 adaptations if you include the Marvel Spider-Man cartoon. Completely different character, origin, personality, powers, life setup in all 3.
Wait, that one cartoon that came out like 5 years ago?
Yeah, the one that got canceled after 1 season.
Yeah, I didn't really bother watching that many episodes.
That was when they were trying.
No one else did.
That was when they were trying to rebrand him as Kid Arachnid.
Oh yeah.
It's like somebody at Marvel needs to lay down. Here is definitively who Miles' girlfriend is, what his origin is. The only thing that's definitively laid down really is the relationship he has with his uncle.
Yeah.
That's about it. It's like they need to decide what is the definitive version of Miles in terms of his personality. Because right now it's kind of just a hodgepodge where they pick and choose different elements every time.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, if you do that, you want to know what situation you're going to run into?
What?
You're going to run into the Sonic situation.
Oh, really?
Because that's always been a big thing in the Sonic fandom is like, you have people who love the adventure Sonic, the more laid back. You have people who like more the jokey Sonic. You have people who prefer more of the adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. Some people prefer more the Sad AM. It's like there's so
the
many
Archie comics.
Yeah, there's so many different versions of Sonic, and it's like, well, the real Sonic. What is the real Sonic the Hedgehog?
Contrast that, Mario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mario is definitive across every version.
Yeah. Even the really bad movie?
Yeah, I mean, probably the only thing that's different is they've started to go a little bit more with this route of Mario legitimately enjoying going on adventures.
Oh, yeah.
Like where it's not just a case of I have to save my girlfriend. It's like he almost to a degree lives for the adventure.
Yeah.
Like they kind of started to do that in the Mario movie.
Yeah, but he wasn't trying to save Peach. He was trying to save his brother.
There was all
No, but there was this aspect of him. It's like he loved the idea of going on an adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually noticed that at the end of Luigi's Mansion 3 where Luigi had saved him and a bunch of the Toads, but they still needed to save Peach. Mario was all fired up and gung ho to go to the top of the hotel, and you see him like running and jumping over stuff. Meanwhile, Luigi is like keeping his own pace and making sure he doesn't fall or anything.
Yeah, they've kind of started to lean into this idea of Mario legitimately like just kind of to a degree lives
For the adventure.
Yeah.
I haven't played any of the Luigi's Mansion games.
Oh man, Next Level Games did a really good job with Luigi's Mansion 3. It is the most animated and charming thing I've seen in years.
Yeah. But it's like, Miles can work fine if they figure out who and what he truly is.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be a challenge because currently Marvel doesn't know who any of their characters are at this
Yeah.
point.
Yep.
That's true.
Especially my boy Hulk.
Would you like a latte?
God damn it.
Hulk not angry anymore. Hulk take things one day at a time.
That's the Robot Chicken skit, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
The True Hollywood Story.
Surely will not be giant flop that ruined my career.
Oh, God.
I mean, I think we covered everything. Like, we're just kind of rambling at this point.
Pretty much.
Was there any other good jokes that we made during the thing that we can actually say on here?
I'm sure there were, but again, a lot of my jokes are off the cuff, so I can't really remember a lot of them.
Yeah, same here. The only good one was the white suit.
Nah, the only other joke that we kind of made was given the voice actor. It's like,
Oh, yeah, you could tell that it's Sasuke.
Yeah, when he's Black Suit Spider-Man, it's like we were making the Naruto joke.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that pretty much concludes our show. Hopefully we'll come back for another episode. Hopefully sooner than later. And
Until then, Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Happy
Marvel,
holidays.
my
Merry
check better arrive in another week.
Christmas. Okay, Renee, hit the button.